it is working really well for me. But like, I just cannot recommend it enough. I am a different person and I love who I am now.
Sometimes the best way to save money is just to sit the down. Sit your ass down.
People are wanting to protest with their pocketbooks and say, no more frivolous spending. People are wanting to get a hold of their financial futures to say, I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of having debt. I want to have a healthy financial future. And that is a viral trend that I can get behind. During 2025, numerous people have banded together from all over the world to do one thing: not spend money. This was not like a typical New Year's resolution where you have a resolution to save a certain amount of money or pay off a certain amount of debt. This was a movement that was sparked, that was the new trendy financial thing to do on social media. So I have personally always been a savvy saver, but I have to say this was a movement that I had never heard of before. I know. You're probably thinking, if you're a savvy saver and you're anti-debt, how can you say you've never heard of a no-buy year before? Well, I have heard of no-buy days, no-buy weeks, no-buy months. I've never heard of anybody taking on the challenge of not spending any extra money over the course of a year. Now, I want to deep dive into this a little bit more with you guys because there are a lot of nuances with it. It is a very personal thing for people. There is kind of like a general list of rules that you would follow for a no-buy year, but you can tailor it to meet your own personal needs. Like, obviously, you have to spend some money during the year for things like putting a roof over your head, buying groceries, gas in your car, things like that. But the idea of a no-spend year where you don't buy anything other than your bare necessities, I mean bare necessities, food, water, rent, car insurance, like the bare necessities, I am impressed with anybody that can keep that up. And then I also want to deep dive into the real economic numbers. Is retail booming in 2025? If retail is booming, does that mean that everyone is failing their no spend year left and right? Because spoiler alert, I was not able to find a lot of people that were giving regular updates on their no spend year. So the only way we can know for sure if people are actually adhering to the rules that they have given themselves is if the retail market is suffering in numbers during Q1 and halfway through Q2. Because by the time this video is posted, the year will be halfway over. And like any New Year's resolution, are these people going to fail or will they succeed?
My no-buy year will be continuing into 2025. It's official. My debt will be 100% gone, including my car loan, by August of next year.
So she said, I'm going to continue my no-buy year. That must mean that she was doing it in 2024. And if she was, kudos to her for continuing to continue on so that she can get all of her debt paid off.
My no-buy rules during those 8 months. TBD on the final 4 months of the year, but I'm thinking because I want to build up my savings, I'm probably going to do it then too. Let's get into my rules. In 2024, I wasn't as adherent to my no-buy rules as I wanted to be. In 2025, we know exactly what we're doing and we're going to stick to it. So my rules are: 1, no new clothes whatsoever. I have a closet full of amazing items. I have no room for new clothing. 2025 is going to be the year that we style what we have. And that means making do with my summer wardrobe.
So I would imagine that not buying clothes would be very difficult for some people, especially with the height of fast fashion. There is always new pieces coming out. If you're a compulsive shopper or if you really, really like clothing, it might be very difficult for you to resist a brand new design that has just come out, or a new cut, or a new style, because there's also fashion vloggers that are all over the internet styling new pieces of clothes. And if you like dressing up, if you like trendy things and fashion, it might be very, very hard to resist that for an entire year.
Number 2, no new beauty products. Self-explanatory. I have more makeup than I could ever possibly use, so I will not be buying any more next year. I am allowed to purchase new beauty products if I have used all my backups for a product. So basically restocks only, and that will be infrequent. No perfume. Are you kidding me? I don't need any more perfume. No jewelry. No new technology either. That means I'm going to sit out the iPhone 17. No takeout except once a month. This rule I wasn't as strict with, and I'm going to be really, really rigid in 2025. No home decor. That's okay. I don't need it anyway. My house is fabulous.
Something that she said that I can get behind is she said only eating out once a month, right? Yeah, no takeout except for once a month. I like that she's not saying no takeout at all, because I don't know about you, but me, if I deny myself something that I really, really, really like, I will just kind of fly off the handle and absolutely binge it. You know, if I tell myself I can't have a piece of chocolate, I'm gonna down an entire share a size Hershey bar. If I tell myself that I can't have any fried food, I will drive all over the place to find the one and only food truck that sells funnel cakes. You get what I'm saying? So the fact that she is telling herself I can order out one time a month, I think will give her, if it were me, it would give me the satisfaction of being able to enjoy something that I want without going overboard. And no home decor. That one shouldn't be too difficult. If you already live somewhere and your home is already decorated, what's the point of buying more? Just live in the home that you have. You don't have to constantly be changing the look of it.
No books. I have enough to read as it is. And no canceling my Pilates classes. Those $10 cancellation fees really added up this year. Stay tuned for part 2 where I go through my yes column.
That is, wow. That is her saying, and no to canceling Pilates, because every time she cancels Pilates, it's a $10 charge. That's very smart, that if she's paying for Pilates, she has to go. She's not going to pay to cancel. I really like that. I really like that. It seems like that is a list that you would be able to survive with, I think. You know, what do you think about that? Oh yeah, this guy, I really liked him. Listen to what he's got to say.
Sometimes the best way to save money is just to sit the down. Sit your ass down. See, that's some of our problems. Everybody got ADHD. Gotta be over here and you gotta be over there, spending money all the time. And look, if you got it like that, I ain't talking about you. Go ahead, big money. But the rest of us and all the shit you see on Instagram, TikTok, people living lavish and doing all kind of crazy stuff, be on credit cards and personal loans, not getting paid off for months. I know a girl right now, 3 kids, no baby daddy, she got a new car, and somehow she in Rome for the week on a warehouse salary. Now look, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm just a little concerned. Hey, I'm just saying, if you going on vacation and you ain't paid your car note, don't be mad when you ain't got a car when you come back. Just imagine going to Disney World, the happiest place on earth, and financing a pair of Mickey ears for 25% interest. Are you really happy? And I used to be wondering how everybody able to go everywhere, do everything all the time. Everybody. And now I got my answer. Credit cards. Personal loans. Go look up the credit card debt statistic. It might scare you. Save your money, cause when you're broke it ain't funny.
Yeah, I mean, that guy, he's not wrong, right? Seems like a lot of people nowadays are addicted to social media. And being on social media, you see a lot of people flaunting wealth, spending money that they don't have, advertising things that they don't need, trying to persuade people to buy things that they don't need because of affiliate or commissions or sponsorship incomes. It is everywhere. And in the past, the only thing you had to worry about was keeping your credit card spending under control. But with the rise of the buy now, pay later apps, it is easier than ever to buy things that you cannot afford, to live a lifestyle that is way beyond your means. And it causes you to be in extreme financial distress. And most of the time, people that get put in this situation don't realize how bad it is until it's too late. So I feel like a no spend year for a lot of people is also a financial reset. There are actually people that are keeping track of what they would have spent when they're going out shopping. And instead, they're taking that amount of money that they've totaled up at the end of the day or the end of the week or the end of the month, and they are immediately putting it on their credit cards. And I've got to tell you, as someone who fights to have zero debt, I love to see it. Because there are so many people that I know in real life and so many people that I see all over social media that struggle with debt. Seeing people be so responsible and taking the money that they would have just bought frivolous bullshit with and actually putting it on their debt and making their financial future brighter, I really, really love to see it. And that's what makes this whole entire no spend year something that I can personally really, really get behind. And even want to join in and do in 2026.
I'm doing a no by 2025. It's been 1 week and these are my results. Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm 27. I have about $16,000 worth of credit card debt that I'm paying off. One of the ways that I'm going to be paying that off is by doing a no buy year. I have a bunch of rules. This is what I normally would go spend and do in a week, especially right after Christmas. Okay, I did not go to Target and do a clearance run after Christmas like I normally would. Probably would have spent about $75. I did not get coffee at all. Normally, I'd say I get coffee maybe 5 times a week. That's $8 a piece. That would have been like $40. Then I need to buy more storage. Nope, didn't do that. That saved me probably $50. I did not go on a shopping spree for clothes after Christmas like I normally do. I normally buy like all of the like Lululemon sale or the like workout clothes sale. That saved me about $200. I did not do an impulse run to Ulta and buy their stuff that's on sale. That saved me probably about $75. I did not do any TJ Maxx or Marshalls runs. That saves me probably about $175. I did not overspend at the grocery store. I spent literally $21 at the grocery store yesterday because I'm shopping my pantry first. That saved me about $100. So by not doing a no buy 2025, my first week, I have saved $705. And if you're like, what are you going to do with that money? Are you going to put it directly into savings? No, because my spending was a mix between my debit card and credit card. So it's hard for me to be like, I would have put this on my debit card or whatever. So $705. Add yours up. Do it for a week. See what you would have spent and maybe make some changes in your lifestyle.
Wow, she tracked it and she would have spent $750 in the first week of the new year, doing all of the sales, the after holiday sales, the Christmas markdown. She admitted that every time she needs to put like holiday stuff away, she goes and she buys brand new storage bins, and she didn't do that. You guys, the cost of storage bins has gone up significantly. So if you are newer to my channel and you don't know because you haven't watched my older content, I was and am a reseller. I am an entrepreneur. I sell merchandise, and I even had a brick and mortar store where I sold Amazon liquidation. And over the course of the last decade, I have accumulated so many Sterilite bins for storing inventory, whether it's storing it waiting for it to sell on eBay, storing it in a storage unit waiting for it to be listed, organizing my basement. I have probably bought anywhere from 80 to 100 Sterilite bins over the course of the last 5 years. And I've got to tell you, they have never been more expensive than they are right now. I used to be able to get like a 46 quart Sterilite bin for under $5, maybe about $4.50 or so. They're like $8-9 now. They've doubled in price. I will say it is nice to have storage bins though, because if you have a lot of stuff that you need to store, being able to secure them in a bin where they're not going to get ruined and then be able to nicely stack them in a storage unit or a basement or a garage, that is something that can really help you have less stress with having all of this clutter around. But then you have to ask yourself, are you just buying things that you don't necessarily need to turn around and buy something to store them in to just shove them in a corner and never look at them again? If that's the case, why buy it at all? Which gives you another reason to think about doing something like a no-buy year. So now comes the part of the video where I want to take a look and see if anyone has posted any no-spend fails. And I also want to take a look at the economic impact to see if retail sales are in fact down, with speculation that it has anything to do with this viral no-spend year trend. But first, let's hear from someone who has had an absolutely incredible life change from doing only 3 months of a no-spend year. Let's listen to what she has to say.
I'm about 3 months in on my no-buy year, and I just have to say, as someone who was a shopaholic, like seriously was spending so much money on stupid stuff. Every month I would blink and hundreds or sometimes thousands of dollars would be gone on things that did not matter, that I don't even remember. Who was that was shopping that much? Like even in 90 days, I'm a different person. If you have ever thought about doing something like this, or if like you really struggle with shopping or just spending money impulsively, please do a challenge. Even if it's only 30 days, if it's 90 days, I mean, you don't have to I'm doing a whole year because I feel like I just personally really needed a reset. And I do really well with challenges. Like I love a structured challenge. So like this is working really well for me. But like I just cannot recommend it enough. I am a different person and I love who I am now. Like I am just so much more in tune with the things that actually matter to me. It is becoming so much easier too. Like when I first started this challenge, it was so hard for me to say no to things, but now it's like probably 95% of the time I don't even flinch. And that just goes to show you how locked in you are in that habit. When you force yourself out of that spending pattern and out of those habits and find healthier coping mechanisms, because when you find healthier coping mechanisms for your spending, because like my impulsive spending was definitely linked to emotional spending. Like that was the thing that I would use anytime I felt too much of any emotion, I was just like, shop. So anyway, this is very ranty rambly, but I cannot tell you how different I am in 90 days. So if you have ever considered doing something this, I would highly recommend that you do it, and feel free to follow me because I am documenting this whole experience and I would love to talk to you about it because it's also way more fun the more that we chat about these things. And I think it's always really helpful anytime you're like really changing your lifestyle to have other people who support that lifestyle. And I certainly support it, so I'm here for you. But anyway, highly recommend.
I personally believe that it is extremely healthy for anyone to detox from any impulsive or addicting habit. Really, really like what she said about no spending is if you stop buying stuff, you start to appreciate the things that you already have. For me, I know that I personally feel like that when I start to declutter areas of my home. Sometimes you just get so much stuff that it's hard to appreciate what you have because you can't really see it all or because it stresses you out. So the act of not buying any new items, decluttering your house, it allows you to focus on the few things that you do have and appreciate it and be grateful for what you have instead of yearning for the things that you don't have.
Want to save money fast? Just stop buying things. Present everybody that has things.
Yeah.
Boom. New life outlook unlocked.
I failed no spend March. Tried really hard and I really failed today. Like I ordered off 7 different websites.
Okay, well that chick said that she wasn't going to spend any money on clothes in March, and looks like as of March 16th, she failed and bought from 7 different sites. Ouch.
This is day 20 of my no spend challenge, and unfortunately today I failed. I had to get my tires replaced today, which cost over $800.
Okay, I don't think that that should count as a no spend year fail, right? If you need tires for your vehicle, you need tires for your vehicle. I think it's mostly frivolous spending, right?
Since we're being honest, this is how I failed my no buy 2025 in the month of January thus far. Here's my cheat sheet. All right, starting with the coffee shops, I spent $130 at coffee shops. I think that is probably down from
$130 at coffee shops. That is the first thing that broke her no buy year in January. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, now let's take a look at some real life economic numbers, because I am curious to know if there was any sort of economic impact from people's no buy years. Now, I'm going to give you the numbers first, and then I want to discuss why I think this could have to do with other things and not just the no buy year. So according to Routers, there was a noticeable decline in January 2025, in which retail sales dropped 0.9% month over month, which was the sharpest decline since 2023. But they're figuring that this downturn was a result of things like bad weather, raising prices, and all of the uncertainty that was surrounding the whole tariff situation when we started off the new year. They suspect that that pretty much led to the severe decline of the primary things like automobiles, furniture, and all online retail. However, retail sales saw a very robust, is what they're saying, a robust recovery in March, meaning March retail sales jumped up 1.4%, and that was a rise of 1.4% from February, and that was the largest monthly gain since January 2023. But it's reported that the 1.4% increase was just because of people rushing to buy automobiles because of the impending tariff situation. Sales of motor vehicles and parts actually rose 5.3%, but electronics, sporting goods, clothing, grocery, online retail, all of those also saw a gain in March of 2025. But as an overview, the first quarter of 2025, total retail sales were actually up 4.1% when compared to first quarter 2024. But a 4.1% increase from the same quarter prior year could also just be an increase in price of items that everybody was buying. It could have also had something to do with fear spending because people didn't know how much items were going to go up once new tariffs were put in place. So everyone was kind of binge buying things like the automobiles in preparation for an even bigger markup that may or may not be coming. So it really is difficult to say whether or not this whole no buy year trend had any sort of economic impact and we could actually see those numbers and people actually sticking to it. But the one thing I did want to point out that I found interesting was that there was the robust economic recovery in March when spending increased. It was also around the same time where people start breaking New Year's resolutions. So if we look at this no buy year trend as a typical New Year's resolution, 23% of people that have New Year's resolutions report breaking it by the end of the first week. And 43% of people with New Year's resolutions admit to failing by the end of January. And only 9% of people end up keeping their New Year's resolutions for the full year. So one might speculate that seeing a sharp decline in online retail sales in January of 2025 could just be what happens every single year, and this trend really didn't have any effect on it at all. A lot of people that vow to save money don't spend a lot in January. A lot of people don't spend money in January because they are recovering from Christmas. So the fact that we saw a decline in retail the first month of the year really doesn't tell us a lot. But what does tell us something is the fact that a trend like this can go viral on social media. This tells me that people are wanting to take control of their finances again. People are wanting to protest with their pocketbooks and say, no more frivolous spending. People are wanting to get a hold of their financial futures and grab their finances by the balls to say, I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of having debt. I want to have a healthy financial future. And that is a viral trend that I can get behind. Let me know down in the comments below. What do you think about doing a whole no buy year? Could you last 365 days? Is this something that you would want to try with me in 2026? Let me know down in the comments below. If you do want to give it a try in 2026, or if you want to give it a try maybe every other month of the remaining bit of the year, what would some of your rules be? I'm really curious about that. As mentioned, everybody makes their rules very personal to their own situations. So let me know what your rules would be. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, remember to give it a thumbs up before you leave. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. That way you're notified whenever I post my next video. Thank you again so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.